Do you want to know how you can retire years earlier than you thought may have been possible? Well, you're in the right place because in this video, I'm going to show you 6 practical tips that you can transform your retirement timeline. So these aren't going to be get-rich-quick schemes or risky investments. They're proven strategies that ordinary people use to retire in their 50s instead of their 60s. See, the thing is, the reality is that most people think early retirement is only for the wealthy, but that's simply not true. By the end of the video, you'll have a clear roadmap to make early retirement a reality for you. Well, that's what I hope anyway. See, my name's Maximise and I'm the founder of financialeducation.co.uk, and I've got over 25 years experience of providing advice and support to people on the journey to retirement. So here's the thing, most people have no idea how much they actually need to retire early. They think it's going to have to be some massive, impossible number that's going to be way out of reach. But actually, there's a simple rule that financial advisors use, and it's called the 25 times rule. So what does that mean? Well, basically, you need to save 25 times your annual expenses to be able to retire safely. So if you spend £30,000 a year, you need around £750,000 in your pension pot. Now, before you start to panic, let me show you how much this is much more achievable than you think. So it's not going to be just a big scary number. Right, so the first tip is to maximise your workplace pension contributions. So here's what most people don't realise. Your employer has to contribute at least 3% if you put in 5%. Most employers will give you a lot more than that. See, that's just free money. You're leaving it on the table if you're not taking full advantage and maximising what your employer has to offer you. But here's where it starts to get really interesting. As I said before, many employers will offer more contributions and they'll often match to a much higher level. I've seen some employers match up to 10% or even sometimes 15% of your salary. So the first thing that you need to do is check with HR and find out what your company's pension contribution structure looks like and what the company is willing to contribute on your behalf, and then see whether you can afford to do that and maximise contributions that way. Now, building on the workplace pension, here's the second powerful tool. That's ISAs, that's individual savings accounts. You can put away £20,000 a year into an ISA completely tax-free. Now, that might sound like a lot, but this is the clever bit, I think. You can split this between cash ISAs and stocks and shares ISAs. See, the beauty of ISAs is that unlike pensions, you can access this money before the age of 55. So what this means is the flexibility that makes ISAs perfect for bridging the gap between early retirement and when you can access your pension. See, what you're doing is you are basically creating 2 pots of money, one for immediate early retirement and one for later in retirement. You know, saving for early retirement isn't just about earning more, it's about spending less on the things that don't matter. See, what you'll find is your biggest expenses are usually housing, transport and food. So that's where you start. Could you downsize your home or move to a cheaper area? Have you thought about these things? Can you use public transport instead of running 2 cars like lots of households do nowadays? So here's what I've learned talking to people about their early retirement planning. Cutting one big expense is easier than cutting dozens of smaller ones. So if you can reduce your annual expenses by, say, £10,000, you need £250,000 less in your retirement pot. And that can make a huge difference in terms of whether you can afford to retire early or not. Right then, so you've got your pension sorted and you know about ISAs, but here's where most people do get something wrong, and that is they rely on willpower. See, for me, the secret is to automate everything so you never have to think about it. So what does this mean? Well, this means setting up direct debits the day after you get paid, so the money disappears before you can spend it. If you've never seen it, you won't really miss it. You can look to increase your contributions into your pension by 1% every year. You won't even notice it, but that can make a big difference over a number of years. So for over 20 years, someone earning £40,000 who increases contributions by 1% annually will have £100,000 more than someone who doesn't. So small numbers can make big differences. And honestly, trust me on this, automation removes all the emotional decisions that trip people up. Go back to what I said before, if you've never seen it, you won't miss it. Okay, so here's the final piece that can really accelerate your timeline, and that is developing additional income streams. Now, this doesn't mean working yourself to death with a second job, absolutely not at all. But what you can do is think about skills that you already have that could earn money. That could be freelance lighting, it could be tutoring, it could even be dog walking or selling crafts online. It could be whatever you want it to be. See, even if you can earn an extra £200 a month, invested properly, that can knock 5 to 7 years off your retirement timeline. So again, small differences, big impact. So the beauty is that extra income can continue into retirement, giving you more security and more options for when you are retired. So here, what I think why this is brilliant, you're building financial skills and independence that will serve you for life. So there you have it, 6 practical tips that can genuinely help you retire years earlier than you may have thought possible. So let's just recap. Start by maximising your workplace pension contribution and checking how much your employer will pay on your behalf. Secondly, use your £20,000 ISA allowance to create accessible savings for early retirement. And remember, thirdly, focus on cutting your biggest expenses rather than worrying about small purchases. As I said before, that can have a huge impact. Fourthly, automate your savings and increase contributions annually so you don't have to rely on willpower. And finally, develop a side income. These can help accelerate your timeline to retirement, and you can save this money and use it through your retirement as well. And lastly, what I would say is, remember, early retirement isn't about being rich. It's about being smart with the money and starting your planning today. And if you do start planning today, you should hopefully be able to achieve the early retirement that you want.